Alright, TNA Impact. Let's make this clear. I'm going to review the show. I'm going to review it. And I'm going to give you my feelings at the end. And I'm going to tell you truthfully, there will be a rant. There's going to be. There's going to be a rant. There will be a rant. You're not going to want to hear it, but you're getting one because of what we got here. I won't explain that right now, but let's go through the show. It's not going to take me long to go through this, but this is what we got. Rascals with Wesley versus Kushida, Trent, and Speedball Mike Bailey. They wanted to reproduce the very first match that happened in the Asylum. Saying one of the very first matches on the Asylum was a 6-man tag. Okay. But you don't include any of the original people from the 6-man tag that happened in the Asylum. If you really wanted to make it special, you could have done an Asylum match on Slammiversary with the original 6. Now, mind you, many of them are somewhere else, and you can't do that. But you want to reproduce it with 6 people that's from your roster? Fine. Well, technically, 5 people from your roster and 1 who used to be, and that's Wesley. The match was fine. The Rascals won. You know what's going to happen this coming Tuesday. We're going to see MBK going up against Axiom and Frazier, which I'm going to say right now, I do not believe that MBK is going to win. I could still be wrong, and they could bring the titles to TNA. But I just don't see it happening. I honestly do not believe that TKO WWE will be willing to let their titles go to another promotion. No, I don't believe they will go there with it. Now, I could be wrong, and I'll eat crow if I'm wrong. But I don't see it. Next, the very first match of Rosemary. I do not, Christena, I believe that's her name, or Trisatera. Chrisatera, I think. I don't remember. I didn't really see her name long enough to even learn her name. We got Rosemary as a blonde. We got Rosemary pulling around a butcher knife. We got Rosemary acting a little bit different than what she normally does when she's acting like the Demon Assassin. So at least it is something different. And after she beats someone, and you see that she's about to be announced as the winner of the match, she's about to go like this, and I forgot her name, Wendy. I forgot Josh's wife's name. I'm sorry. I'm blanking her name. But as she's about to announce Rosemary's name, you see I'm botching here, it's like this. You actually trying to make Rosemary feel special. And yes, the lighting was good. The new music is good. Her hair being different is good. Her carting around a bag is good. Seeing her cocking her hand back and the ref trying to stop it and the announcer stays quiet, you would think, wow, this is something special from Rosemary. How is it special? I'm sorry. If you look at Rosemary for what she's been, we have no idea what is motivating Rosemary other than she's alone now, but then she's messing with the Iceman, basically the concierge of Ash of Elegance. So if she doesn't need people, but she's now tormenting a concierge like she did with the person I'll be mentioning eventually in this video, you're going to know who I'm talking about in a little bit. I'm like, what are we getting from Rosemary? I don't know what this is yet. Because this is literally the first time we've actually seen Rosemary, not just in a match, but really be something without someone interacting with her like the concierge who's scared. Moving on. Next match, Ryan Nimitz versus the King of TNA. And Josh's wife, I still can't remember her name for some reason, I'm blanking, was told again that he is the King of TNA. Let me give it to you like this. Do I believe he should have been part of the system? Yes. I still believe that Kaz should be part of the system. Frank Kazarian should join them. And it would have been better than Dirty Dango. But let's make it clear. Dirty Dango, and I know I could use Johnny Curtis, but Dirty Dango, I believe eventually will leave them. And I do believe Kaz should join them. That's just me. You guys something below. Next match. Marsha Slamovich versus Jody Threat. What did we get here? A sad match. I'm being honest here. This is not about the quality. I want to make this clear. The matches had good quality. All matches had good quality. The last match had great quality, but I want to make this clear. This is not about the match. This is about the TNA tag belts for the women, for the knockouts, which only has two teams. Two. And they're not sponsoring them like they did with the Motor City Machine Guns and Generation Me, or Motor City Machine Guns with Team 3D. I'm sorry. Look, I care about Marsha Slamovich. I do. Even when it comes to Alicia Edwards, part of the system, and I'll talk about the segment with the system later, if I don't forget. But what do we have? We got only one match with fresh meat, and that was for Rosemary to try and put herself over. And when it comes to the tag champs, they don't have anyone other than Spitfire to mess with. And that's a major issue when you have so few women, and Spitfire has, maybe 50% of your entire roster women on it? Like I said before, they need to bring in more women to make the division feel more fuller. Even if they're not really part of the roster, give these women more women to eat, to grind through. Like a meat grinder. Understand, if you've never seen Dread 2013, there was a scene where you see Judge Dredd in a corner when he only has high-res bullets left. And he's told by another judge that clearly this city is like a meat grinder. People go in, meat comes out. That's what they need for TNA. They need to bring people in so they can go for the meat grinder. They need people to make the divisions feel more full. You got all these people here, but you see them go up against the same people over and over again. You need variety. You need enhanced talent to make the divisions feel more full. And Spitfire is the only team they got. And four of the women are supposed to be dealing with Jordan Grace. Well, they're supposed to, and they're not. Tell me I'm wrong. And the kicker is, Jordan Grace has gone through them all anyway. And well, yeah, she has gone through. She's gone through Jody Threat, I believe. She's already gone through Danny Luna, who's basically her younger self. Because Danny Luna, as someone who looks like a power wrestler, looks like what Jordan Grace used to look like. She's already gone for Marsha and multiple times. And she's already gone for Alicia multiple times. There is no division for her. Legitimately. And if anybody says this is great, it's not. Moving on. Let me give it to you like this. Santana versus Campaign Singh. Because of what the Mustafa Ali made it very clear that he failed at Slammiversary. He needed to make up for it. Oh yeah, he did. He got his ass whooped. And that is Campaign Singh. But what do we get after that? We got a good promo from Santana making it very clear he wants his hands on the system. He wants his hands on Moose. And then eventually he's going after the title. He wants the heavyweight title. But he want to go through everyone in the system first before he goes there. Moose is the first one he wants. He wants Moose. Moose screwed him over. He wants Moose. And then he'll probably go after Brian. He'll go after Johnny Dango Curtis. Then he'll go through Eddie Edwards. And then maybe he'll move on to Nick. Which would be alright. In fact, that wouldn't be a bad thing for Bound for Glory, counting of how long Nick is going to hold the title. Nick and the Ali. I'll tell you this. Was it a bad match? No. But here's the problem. I'd rather see it close the show. I wanted to see it close the show. I needed to see it close the show. Particularly what happened after when... Let me give it to you like this. You see Nick Nimitz win. Fine. He won clean. And then after the match of Ryan Nimitz and Kazarian, and you see Josh Alexander come out and destroy him with a C4 spike after he got his butt kicked already, this would have been better to close the show with. And I kind of wish they did not do this and they had left it as the closing of the show, because of what happened with Nick, what happened with Josh Alexander, and what happened with his brother. That's what I think would have been better. But we didn't get that. Now, was it good to see it? Of course it was good to see it. And it needed to be seen. You needed to see Nick, see Josh up in the ramp. You needed to see Josh, who did speak beforehand, that he has been the one who put the company on his back for years. And this is the way he's been. He's the one who brought in Joe Henry. He's the one who brought in Nick Nimitz. This company would be nothing without him. And he's done being nice. Fine. This is what exactly I wanted to hear. Josh Alexander has new music, and his attitude as a walking weapon has changed. He's no longer the good guy who always feels like he's always going to win. Now he's a bad guy that, because of all the work he's done, he feels legitimate enough that he can be a bad guy and win clean. And that actually would be a good thing. Unlike when he kicked in the nuts Joe Henry. So I will say this was a good ending of the show. A good match before the show when it came to Ryan Nimitz getting destroyed with the C4 spike. But the problem is, this should have closed the show. It should have closed it. For Light Out, it should have closed the show. Now, let me give you this. Next to the talk with Gia Miller and Josh Alexander, we did get a little snippet of Jordynne Grace talking about how dominant she is and what she's done. And now she's going to wait for the next challenger next week. And since Spitfire and the tag champs are maybe half of the roster already there, they're not even involved. Unless you're going to possibly bring in, maybe, Xia Brookside. You'll let Xia face a Jordynne Grace. You'll let Gazelle Shaw go out with Jordynne Grace again, which I kind of wish they would not, because she's not ready. But who else you got? Now, I know you're supposed to have a Japanese wrestler back there, but we haven't seen her. And if there's any other women's wrestlers that are knockouts, they need to start bringing them out now. Because there's no one for Jordynne to deal with, unless we're going to get someone from NXT. Maybe through NXT, you may still get an Italian, maybe. Somebody. I don't know. Finally, let's close the show. If I'm forgetting anything, I'm sorry. Oh, well, I did forget to talk about the system. Let me give it to you like this. I almost forgot the system. The system is broken. They're upset because they lost their tag belts and the main heavyweight title. And it's Alicia who's trying to convince them to be who they are. And they started picking up a little bit. They said, it happens. We lose. But you know what? What makes us more dangerous is not always winning, but losing and having to come back. That's what they were basically talking about. And Johnny Curtis made it very clear. Dirty Dango made it very clear. I will take a bullet for all of you. You know me, Eddie. Well, he said, Brian, you know I'll take a bullet. Alicia, you know I'm going to take a bullet. Eddie, you know me for 20 years. I'll always take your bullet. And even you, Moose, I took a bullet for you. And I'll keep taking a bullet because I believe in the system. I want to be a part of the system. The only thing he didn't say was I am. Well, he did say I am the system. But I want to join it. And they said they're going to get the titles back. At least it was a nice build-up for that. But now, let's make this clear what we got at the end of the show. I know there's going to be people that can like it. There's one guy who loves Johnny Swearing, you know who you are, my friend, who will find this funny. I know you'll find it funny. I know you're going to love it. And I'm going to tell you, really? You really going there? And understand, this was a good wedding segment. I want to make this clear, even though I'm going to do a rant after I explain this. And there will be a rant. Was this a bad wedding? No. We've had not one in the last maybe 10 years. I say we've had maybe 3 or 4 weddings in the last 10 years. Remember, we had, I believe, which one was the first one? The first one we might have had was ODB and Eric Young. Or it was Braxton Sutter with a Laura Van Ness. Remember, That also happened, where Laura Van Ness, the former Chelsea Green, lost her damn mind and became very interesting as a character. Now we had those two. Then we had another wedding, but it was not, was it? Sorry, my mistake. I'm getting Wrestle House mixed up with the let's find out who shot JR angle of Dallas done on TNA, and that was for Johnny Bravo and, like I said earlier, a Rosemary who shot him her damn self, if I remember correctly. It's been a while. But I do believe either Wrestle House 2 might have been the first one before a Bravo got shot. I do believe it was Bravo got shot first. Here's the order. ODB and Eric Young, where they were both ODB and Eric Young, who are both the Knockouts Tag champions. Then we have Braxton Sutter and Laura Van Ness. That was the next one. I do believe the angle of JR was done with Johnny Bravo and Rosemary. That was next. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. And then we had Wrestle House, where Johnny Swinger was going to get married to a swingette. Pretty much that's where they're going to go with that. We've had, in the last 10 years, or maybe a little bit more, 4 weddings. 4. And now we just had a 5th one with PCO and Steph DeLander. Now, I won't tell you that people will not find this entertaining, particularly in Montreal. People did enjoy it. I can't tell you they didn't. They did. And what happened? I knew someone was going to come up. And guess what? Basically, First Class comes out saying, we don't want to interfere. We just want to watch the freak show and people getting freaky on it. Fine. The Steph DeLander did her vows. And she spoke pretty well, even though it was a little pause, a little too much. But it wasn't bad. Then you had PCO giving his vow and going, hey, I promise I vow to you. And if you don't know about Young Frankenstein and seeing that he had a gold member driven into somebody who started singing in Sweet Mystery of Life, Last I Found You, you should look it up. It's from 1973. You will love it. It's in black and white. It's totally kooky. It's totally ridiculous. The implications of a guy of a 10-inch dick going through a woman's body part and she loving every inch of it. There you go. But that's what we got until the lights go out, and that's after we got the wedding vows from the 1199 trained Santino Marella. He said, you're now in Montreal. You do not need to do a regular kiss. You can do a French kiss. Before they even touch each other's faces. Lights go out. Come on. We get and Matt Cardona coming back. So his arm looks like it's gotten better. When he was in GCW as the general manager, I think his right or left arm was broken or badly hurt. So now he got it. Back in good shape. He gets into the ring. Staff is happy seeing him. And then he brings a present. Well, not present, but a present that he smashes into the head of a PCO. He knocks over everything in the ring. And he tries to grab Steph. And Steph. I guess the reason I'm botching here is that, and we're pretty much finished now, because Steph was heartbroken that her wedding was ruined. PCO got up. And we go from there seeing Matt Cardona said, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? What's happened to you? What is wrong with you? To Steph. Let me give it to you like this. Just in case you didn't realize, it's the rant part of this video. What the blue fuck did we just got? I'm not being nice here. I'm not going to tell you that this wasn't good TV. It was good. But what the blue fuck are we getting here from TNA? Remember what I told you? I gave you a report that when Jordan Grace went to a podcast, it was months ago, and she said in her own words on that damn podcast that after Scott left, nothing changed. Because look at what we just got here. We have been told that this is a new era in TNA. That things are going to be different. They're not. I'm sorry, guys. This is not about if the quality is totally garbage. It's not 100% garbage. Yes, the camera work was a little messed up. You could tell they kept doing a lot of zooms like this. If you remember during some of the matches, you got a lot of zoom ins too damn close. So it was a little sloppy. But generally, right now, they've been decent camera work for people at home to actually see what's going on and not do the Vince McMahon bit. That. So it's been okay, at least with the camera work. But let's be honest here. We were told that we were going to get something substantial in the next couple of months working with TKO WWE. What have we gotten? And understand, seeing that we had Jordynne Grace go to TNA was great. But that was meant for her. It's not really helping TNA as much as everybody think it is. Because what is it doing for TNA? We're not getting any cross-pollination. Look, we sent, understand, I'll say this again. We have sent so far Jordynne Grace, Joe Henry, the Rascals. We sent Kaz, even though he didn't really get much in that Battle Royal he was in. And we had Ash of Elegance, who used to be part of NXT, who came over there that one time that she went over there, and that was it. That's all we've sent them. What have they sent us? The No Quarter Catch Crew, Wesley, and Tatum Paxley. That's it. The No Quarter Catch Crew, who has the lowest storylines they have on NXT. The lowest. They've basically been a punching bag of Tony D'Angelo and the family dealing with the Heritage Cup. That's what's going on there. They're the lowest hanging denominator fruit. That's it. Wesley, he's my boy, Desmond Xavier. I've always loved Wes. He worked hard at what he's done. And he's a substantial member of the NXT roster. Yes. But what else? We thought we were going to get something from Josh Briggs. We didn't get anything from Josh. We were supposed to get something from not Josh, well, yeah, Josh Briggs. And then from Buddy Jensen. We didn't get that either. We thought maybe we'd see AJ Styles. We haven't seen anything of AJ. We have seen nothing substantial switch over. We have sent them two of the most strongest and most prominent members of the roster. Jordynne Grace, who has been to multiple promotions except for AEW, but has gone through every other promotion and is well known and well liked. We've now sent Joe Henry, who literally skyrocketed his own publicity through the UK charts and singing. And that's why people are going crazy for Joe. And now you want an NXT. What have we gotten for TNA? What did we get for Slammiversary when we were touted over and over again that this was going to be something big? A repeat match with the Rascals, now with Wesley and the No Quarter Catch Crew. When, if you saw the recording from that week's Impact before Slammiversary, and I'll say it again because no one says it, that we had Kushida that time. So that was a repeat match on one of the most significant pay-per-views that TNA puts on. A wedding proposal from a PCO to Staff Delander. And what else? What else? We got Nick becoming champion, yes, but that's nothing no one didn't think wasn't going to 100% happen. Also, it could have been Joe Henry, but that's something we have been considering. If Nick wasn't going to win or Moose were going to retain, it would be Joe Henry going to win. But that's stuff that's already been pretty much guessed on and even previewed by other people if they preview these things. I stopped doing previews a long time ago because I lost fun of it. Because the way the companies were acting was so formulaic, I got tired of it. I know people over the years asked, why don't you do previews? Well, guess what? Many of these companies keep doing the same things more than they should. It's not that pro wrestling doesn't repeat things from other pro wrestling companies or from previous eras. They do. But they try to change it up by not doing the same thing every time, every year, or every couple of months. WWE was doing it so much, it turned me off. And then TNA was doing it so much, It turned me off to the point where I don't do previews ever again. I'm done with them. Doesn't mean I won't say something about the pay-per-view, but I don't do previews anymore because they made it so formulaic. And look what we got. And I believe in the last 10 years, we've had 4 weddings. We had Eric Young and ODB as the tag champions for the Knockouts. We had Braxton Sutter and Laura Van Ness, which was one of the most unique weddings at the time, because at the time we had Allie, who was in love with Braxton, and Laura Van Ness, who lost her mind, which she was more interesting than Braxton Sutter or Allie. That was the only one that was interesting to me at the time. Then what did we get? We get Johnny Bravo getting shot by Rosemary doing the Dallas angle. Not many people would do that, and that was pretty unique. Then we have Wrestle House 2, not 1, 2, where, guess what? Johnny Swing was going to marry a swingette. And now we get PCO and Staff Delander. And now we get Matt Cardona coming back, which is good. But what else? What is the point of this collaboration? What are we getting from this collaboration? We've sent more important people to them than they've sent to us. And I've been saying this for months. I said, guys, and no one has ever said I'm wrong, because I'm not. I said when they first turned to TNA and when Scott D'Amore left, I said, you better watch. Hopefully this will be all right, but I am not confident in TNA and how things are running. Then we get the new president, which he's not even a wrestler or promoter or anyone who's written. He's just a guy who does network work. He worked for 30 years in TV network, not wrestling, which was a bad sign as it was. Then 3 people from TNA left. And one of them is currently in AEW as a writer for AEW now. And as I reported, well, I will report, because when I release my roundup of TNA, I will talk about Scott D'Amore. Scott D'Amore is doing something. Scott D'Amore is actually going to be doing something. I don't know if it's going to work, but it's something interesting. And it'll be in that Gun Report. Possibly tomorrow I'll release it. But what are we getting? Jordan Gray said it months ago. TNA is no different. It hasn't changed. You see this here. It's not bad. But it's what Impact Wrestling would do. You would think they would do something new and special. Hell, you have a collaboration with another company that would normally never collaborate with anybody. And they are. And what are we getting out of it? Nothing. Nothing substantial other than what we got from Wesley, who's still my boy. I love him. He's still great. But we just got Wesley. The No Quarter Catch crew. Tatum Paxley. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me what's happening. What is wrong? And this is not about what's going to happen with Joe Henry and TNA. Don't even play me with that. If anybody says and starts trying to put some information below and says 100%, well, it's been reported that Joe Henry is going to be doing something great. And this is, no. We have a collaboration with another company, and we're sending more of our more important people there, and we're not getting anything or anyone important back. You can't deny it. This is not very good for TNA. And it doesn't make a difference that they renewed their contracts in India. We've been having the same contracts in India for many years. They were with Sony in India. No, Sun, or I believe it's called Sun in India. And Eurosport in India. India keeps renewing it over there for TNA. Because TNA is one of the few companies that wants to go there. So don't tell me any damn thing about that. It's good they get it, but they get it back every time when it's supposed to renew. That's what's been going on. They never got dropped. India is hungry for wrestling. But it's just me. Peace.